Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to peel back the curtain on the financial markets. We're moving way beyond just looking at red and green candles to understand what the big institutions are actually up to.
You know, most traders, they pull up a standard price chart and think, okay, this is it. This is all the information I need. But what if I told you those familiar patterns, those candles you've been staring at, are only showing you half the picture? And maybe, just maybe, they're leaving out the most important part.
Get this, it takes your brain up to half a second just to see a price change on the screen and decide what to do. In the time it takes you to blink, trading algorithms have already placed and executed thousands of orders. So by the time you see a big move happening, the smart money is already in position. This isn't just a small speed advantage. It means you're fundamentally playing a different and much slower game.
So here's what we're going to cover in this explainer. First, we'll talk about why just looking at candles can be misleading. Then, we'll uncover the invisible market where the real game is played. After that, we'll look at the tools you need to see what's happening there. We'll walk through a real-world example, and finally, we'll wrap it all up with a whole new way of looking at the market, shifting from just reacting to actually reading it.
All right, let's jump right into part one and break down why the way most people trade is, well, kind of set up for failure from the start.
The source material kicks off with a pretty brutal statistic. A staggering 96% of traders don't make money. And it's not because they aren't intelligent people. It's because they're focused on the wrong thing. They're chasing the effects, the candles, instead of understanding the cause.
And this right here is the core of the issue. A big green candle just tells you the outcome of a battle. It doesn't show you the battle itself. Relying only on price is like trying to understand a football game by only looking at the scoreboard at the end. You see who won, sure, but you have no idea about the key plays, the momentum shifts, or the strategies that actually decided the game.
So if the price chart is just the scoreboard, where is the actual game being played? Well, it's time to pull back the curtain and look at this invisible market.
Now, this is the market we all know, right? The cash market. You buy some shares of a company, you sell some shares. It's direct, it's straightforward, but it's not where the real power is.
And here's where things get really interesting. The scale of this other invisible market isn't just a little bigger. It's absolutely massive. It changes everything.
That's right. For every $1 being traded in the cash market that everyone watches, there are $10 being traded in the derivatives market. That's options and futures. That's where the big institutions are really operating. Their activity in this gigantic arena is what creates the waves that eventually crash on the shore of the cash market. It truly is a game within a game, and most retail traders are completely blind to it.
So how in the world do you see this invisible market? Well, you can't use standard charts. You need a specialized toolkit, the kind the pros use.
The first tool is called Market Profile. The best way to think of it is like an MRI for the market. Instead of just showing you a single price point, it shows you where the market has spent the most time and traded the most volume. It reveals the market's skeleton, the key structural levels where institutions have been buying and selling.
Now, if Market Profile is the MRI showing you the structure, then Order Flow is the live EKG, showing you the market's heartbeat, tick by tick. It doesn't just tell you the price moved up, it shows you why it moved up. You can literally see how many aggressive buy orders hit the market versus sell orders at every single price. It's the live, unfiltered battle between buyers and sellers.
So here's the most important part. There's no single magic tool. It's about how they work together. Market Profile gives you the map of the important territory. Order Flow then tells you who's winning the fight at those key locations on the map. You combine them, and suddenly you have a clear, cohesive view of what the big institutions are likely doing.
Okay, theory is one thing, but let's see how this all comes together in a real trading day. We're going to retell the day's story, not with candles, but with these much deeper insights.
So the day starts out looking great for buyers. The market opens strong. But if you're watching the data, you can see them struggling to really push prices higher. Then comes the key moment. At the very peak of the day, the order flow data shows something shocking, literally zeros on the buy side. Aggressive buyers had just vanished. Demand completely dried up. That was the signal that everything was about to change.
And that failure was the turning point. It was like an open invitation for the sellers to take over. Once a key support level broke, the order flow confirmed it. Sellers were now in complete control, hitting the market hard. The day's entire bullish story flipped on its head and became bearish. And these tools made that plot twist obvious long before the final crash on the candle chart.
So what's the big takeaway here? What does this all mean for how we should approach the markets? It really requires a fundamental shift in your entire perspective.
First things first, you have to stop the knee-jerk reaction to big red and green candles. It's a trap. Reacting to a huge green candle often means you're buying at the top, and panicking on a big red candle means you're selling at the bottom. It's a reactive and usually a losing game.
The shift is from being a price chaser to becoming a market reader. You start using these tools to understand what the big players are trying to do. You're asking better questions. Are they accumulating a position down here? Are they trying to sell their holdings up here? Reading their intent lets you anticipate what might happen instead of just reacting after it already has. And that's what it all comes down to. Every single day, the market tells a story. It's a narrative of conflict, of strategy, of victory and defeat. A standard chart just gives you the chapter titles, but the real story, the rich, detailed plot, is written in the order flow and the market structure. So the final question isn't about trying to predict the future, it's about understanding the present. So ask yourself, what story is your market telling you right now?